What's up, y'all? My name is Devin, the DIY Lawn Coach. Thank you so much for coming back for another video. Welcome to the Can I series. In this series, I'm answering a lot of really popular questions around can I? Can I seed in the spring? Can I mix fertilizers together? Can I apply pre-emergent and grass seed at the same time? A lot of questions that may be deemed controversial, we're gonna get into them. So thank you so much for checking out the video. Let's get into it. All right, so let's get into it. Can you apply pre-emergent and grass seed at the same time? Let's start by answering what is a pre-emergent. So there are basically two different types of herbicides in DIY lawn care. There's pre-emergents and there's post-emergents. Post-emergents control weeds after they've germinated, hence the word post. And then pre-emergents means they stop the weeds or grasses before they germinate. Now there's really two different types of pre-emergents that we deal with in DIY lawn care. Number one is prodiamine and number two would be dithiopure. Both can be applied usually, well, they can be applied any time of the year, but typically for a cool season lawn, we're either applying them in the spring or we're applying them in the fall. And make sure you stay around to the end of the video because we'll go into some more details about that. But it's a popular misconception that pre-emergents stop the germination of plants. And that's not technically true. The way pre-emergents work is they create, when applied properly and watered in at the right rates, they create what's called a vapor barrier. And that vapor barrier, once the plant germinates, it comes in contact with that vapor barrier and it stops the cell division within the plant. All we are, you, me, plants, we're all just a big bunch of cells. But that vapor barrier that pre-emergent creates, when that plant germinates and it comes in contact with that vapor barrier, it actually stops the cell division within that plant, and therefore the plant dies. But it's just easier to say that it stops it from germinating rather than having to explain the vapor barrier and germinating and then cell division. So we like to say it just stops the germination, but technically speaking, it doesn't stop the germination. It is also really important to understand that pre-emergents do not stop all weeds. Also, make sure you're following the instruction for how to properly apply, how to water in, proper rates, and all those things on the bag. Super important. The label is the law, so just make sure you're following that. We wouldn't want to cause damage to your lawn, and we wouldn't want to cause damage to you because you didn't follow the instructions. So make sure you're doing that. But also, I want you to understand that pre-emergents do not stop all weeds, but it will stop some of the more popular ones like dandelion, crabgrass. Those are all what we call annuals, meaning their life cycle, they come back annually. And because they produce a seed, that pre-emergent is able to stop them. Weeds like poatriv or clover, those are not annuals, those are perennials, and no pre-emergent is gonna stop a perennial. So you gotta make sure you're following the label and it'll explain all that. It's also important to understand that that vapor barrier only works unless it hasn't been disturbed. So if you put down a pre-emergent, you watered it in, and you've got it in your soil at the right rate, but then you come behind it and you disturb that area, say you run an aerator over it, or you dig up a particular area and you disturb that vapor barrier, well, then that vapor barrier is not gonna work, or that vapor barrier is not gonna be effective anymore because you've disturbed it. So it's just important to understand that even foot traffic can disturb the barrier as well. Even heat, these pre-emergents, they lay in the soil and they have an efficacy for how long they last, and they break down over time. So heat, humidity, water, all those things, disturbing the ground will reduce the amount of time that they're effective. And that's why when we apply pre-emergents, we apply them at a rate and it'll say, well, it'll last for 3 to 4 months, or 2 to 3 months, or 6 to 8 weeks, or whatever it is, because that's the amount of time that product will remain active and keep a good vapor barrier and be effective in your grass. All right, so to specifically answer the question, can you apply pre-emergent and grass seed at the same time? And the answer is no, you cannot do that. Putting down a pre-emergent will also stop your grass from germinating as well. Another really important reason why you want to read the label and make sure that you're not applying any grass seed within the window of the application rate that you're making. So there's usually 2 times of year that we like to apply pre-emergents to our cool season lawn. And the first is spring, and usually we apply a pre-emergent in the spring. Technically it's early spring, sometimes even considered winter, but we want to get it in the soil before soil temperatures rise to 55 degrees. And that's really going to stop the 2 main ones, the main weeds that we deal with, and that's crabgrass and dandelion, and a few other weeds as well. But those are the 2 primary ones that we're really going after. The other time of year that we apply a pre-emergent is in the fall. And usually we apply maybe dithiopyr or prodiamine. And usually what we're tackling when we apply in the fall is we're going after Poa annua, which germinates in fall when soil temperatures are falling towards 70 degrees. And so usually what happens in the fall, people want to try to apply their grass seed and their pre-emergent at the same time, thinking that I can plant my grass and then also stop Poa annua. Well, Poa annua germinates about the same time and temperature that we like to plant our grass seed. So you cannot apply a pre-emergent at the same time. Now what some people will do is they'll say, okay, well, I'm going to get my pre-emergent down early, maybe early in the year to stop that Poa from germinating when we cross over the 70-degree mark. And then they're going to try to plant grass seed maybe later into the fall. I don't recommend doing that. I think you're just running into some issues. I mean, if you've done it in the past and you've done it successfully, more power to you. It's your lawn. By all means, do whatever you want. But I typically don't recommend planting grass seed within the time frame that you're planting or that you're putting down your pre-emergent. You're just asking for trouble. You're asking for, you're investing a lot of time, energy, money into trying to get that grass seed up. The last thing that I would want is to have a seeding failure because of pre-emergent. And pre-emergent will stop the germination of your grass. Now, there is one pre-emergent that you can apply at time of seeding. And technically, this is not a pre-emergent. It's actually a weed control, but it does have some pre-emergent capabilities. And I'm talking about Mesotrione. Mesotrione is an herbicide that is labeled to not only kill weeds, it also has some select pre-emergent capabilities when put down at time of seeding. Now, if you're seeding in the fall, putting down Mesotrione is fantastic. It's a great strategy to help you tackle some of those weeds that may be emerging right alongside your grass. Because Mesotrione in a cool season lawn, and like I say always, check your label. At the time I'm making this, who knows what's happened or how long this could be out there, but check your label. I mean, you're going to be watering like crazy anyway, and that's just going to add more opportunity for those weeds to germinate. But just understand that the pre-emergent capability on Mesotrione is only for a couple weeks, maybe 3 to 4 at best. Again, it's not a fail-safe, it's not a replacement for dithiopyr or prodiamine. If you're looking for a pre-emergent, you're looking to stop the emergence of weeds, you have to use a pre-emergent. Mesotrione is not a replacement. It's just another tool in your tool belt when it comes to seeding, or if you want to try to prevent weeds at time of seeding. I hope that helps answer the question, can I apply pre-emergent and grass seed at the same time? If you missed last week's video, make sure you go check that out, and then I'll see you guys in the next Can I video next week. My name is Devin, I'm the DIY Lawn Coach, and I can't wait to see you in the lawn. Peace.